Welcome to this week's edition of Leading with Confidence. My name is Confidence Seleme and I'm your host. This program is proudly powered by the William Seleme Foundation, and the foundation's mission is enabling education in Africa. This week, I'd like us to talk on a topic I've titled, How to Effectively Lead Yourself. It is true that one of the myths of leadership is that having followers makes one a leader. This is a myth that I also held to be true until I was taught differently by one of my leadership mentors, the late Dr. Myles Munroe. You see, you don't become a leader when you get followers. You get followers when you become a leader. In essence, leadership begins with leading yourself, not others. If we want to become people of impact and influence, if we want to become leaders, we have to start leading ourselves. If there are elements about ourselves that are preventing us from realizing our leadership potential, then we need to make the necessary changes. There's a famous song by the late Michael Jackson which says, "I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways." And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. Close quote. People don't follow people for no reason. Some people want to be leaders, but there's no valid reason why they should be followed by anybody. Do you want to become a leader? If your answer is yes, think carefully about why anybody should be following you. When you're a leader, you guide people along a path. But if you have not discovered a worthy path or a worthy goal, then why do you want to be a leader? Where will you lead people if you aren't going anywhere? Leaders need personal vision. One of the primary mandates of a leader is to set a vision that must be pursued. If you do not have a personal vision for your life, then you are living life aimlessly. If there is no goal that is demanding that you work on yourself, sharpening your skills and intellect so that you become better in every way, then you are lacking a vital component needed in the manufacturing process of leaders. Leaders are produced through and by process. Like a meal that is prepared on a stove, containing various ingredients, such is the process by which leaders are produced. When you have a vision for your life and you are living for a definite purpose, that vision will begin cooking you. You'll realize that in order to achieve the vision, you need to know more than you know right now. You need to be stronger than you are right now, and you need to be wiser than you are right now. As you pursue your vision, you will also need to pursue knowledge. You will need to pursue wisdom. You will need to become stronger. And as you garner all of these qualities, you'll become a ready dish, ready to be served to the world as a leader, indeed ready to lead. The best leadership training is the training you'll receive through leading yourself. This is because you're probably the hardest person you'll ever have to lead. Many leaders find it easy to teach, guide, and nurture others, but they don't find it as easy to teach, guide, and nurture themselves. Some leaders are like mechanics who drive rundown cars that are always breaking down. They're able to fix other people's cars, but their own cars are not in a good state. This should not be the case. I heard someone say that it's not enough to preach the message, you have to be the message. As a leader, your life, your conduct, your fruit should be such that it exemplifies good personal leadership and it demonstrates that you live with a good sense of direction and personal vision. When people see that you are able to lead yourself, they will trust you to lead them as well. You will not have to chase or beg anyone to follow you. Your personal conduct will attract them to you, and out of their own will and because of what they see in you, they will follow you. The reason that influential people are influential is because they've attracted people towards them through developing some sort of skill or talent they have. The reason Serena Williams, for example, is widely admired and is such an influential figure is that she has practiced certain personal leadership traits such as commitment to her craft, and that has made people gravitate towards her, and she has become a leader in a particular sphere. She does not need to ask people to follow her. She just has to keep practicing good personal leadership and continuing the vision she has for her life. What is your personal vision? As you pursue it, is it demanding that you grow? Is it inspiring you to reach higher? Is it encouraging you to become a better person? Is it encouraging you to become a person of excellence? Is it helping to cultivate you into a leader? Leadership is very much like a schooling system in that it is process-orientated. Just as in school, you go through a process of learning, tests and exams, and then promotion. When you have a personal vision and you practice leadership over yourself, bearing the various fruits that are produced when one practices leadership over themselves, then you will be eligible for promotion. The various fruits I'm talking about are not necessarily the tangible fruits such as money, offices, and so forth. These fruits are in the form of various attitudes that self-leadership produces in a person. We will discuss this in greater detail in the section to follow. Yes, if you pass the test of leading yourself, you'll be elevated and you'll begin leading others. When you are able to lead yourself as you pursue a personal vision, you'll be able to lead a group of people in the pursuit of a collective or corporate vision. In the following sections, I want us to discuss 3 aspects of self-leadership. These are self-motivation, self-discipline, and self-confidence. Let's start with self-motivation. You need self-motivation so that you can remain on guard. One of the functions of leadership is to guard against those things that may be seeking to bring harm to those you lead. The leader is an overseer, and one of the things that the leader must oversee is the safety of those he or she leads. This may be guarding financially, where you make sure that there is enough finances to meet the needs and wants of those you lead. It may be guarding spiritually, where you play an intercessory role praying for the spiritual protection and well-being of those you lead. It may be emotional guarding, where you protect those you lead from unnecessary emotional turmoil, or also providing measures to ensure the physical protection of those you lead. Where there is no guard, it makes it easier for the thief to steal. Where there is no leadership, people are bound to suffer loss in one or other area. It is a sad state of affairs when leaders leave posts they are meant to guard and uphold. It is sad when corporate leaders quit organizations they are meant to build. It is sad when leaders of public offices relinquish their duties and cease serving the mandate to which they are called. It is sad when fathers and mothers quit their families, leaving dependents to fend for themselves. When leaders quit their guard post, it leaves those the leader is meant to oversee vulnerable. Of course, there comes a time when a leader must move on in their career or join a different organization for the sake of their own growth and development. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about leaders who neglect their duties and responsibilities, thus leaving a leadership vacuum. There are many different reasons why some leaders quit, and some of the reasons relate to the fact that many leaders rely on external motivation in order to continue in their duties and responsibilities. If a leader isn't receiving a thank you once in a while, that leader may begin losing heart and the desire to quit may become stronger. It's true that appreciation from those you lead and serve is important in that it encourages you, but lack of appreciation should not lead you to quitting your post. As a leader, you need intrinsic motivation where you are able to encourage yourself. Even when others don't seem to be appreciating your efforts, you must keep doing that which you are called to do. Your stance should not be, if nobody appreciates it, why should I continue doing it? Rather, it should be, even if nobody seems to be appreciating it, I will continue anyway. As a leader, you need to be self-motivated. You need to know that you're not doing it for the mere applause, but rather for the positive impact and results that your leadership will produce. Self-motivated leaders do not survive on appreciation from others. They don't depend on others to validate or affirm them. Leaders who rise on compliments and appreciation from others will fall on the criticism and lack of appreciation from those very same people. As a leader, you must know that those who say hallelujah today can turn around and say crucify him tomorrow. Do not let lack of appreciation cause you to leave your post and bring your leadership to a halt. Let the knowledge of your purpose as a leader be a source of self-motivation, and let it be a strong internal voice that uplifts and encourages you when other voices may be seeking to bring you down. Speak, sing, or preach to yourself and keep yourself motivated by any means necessary. Leaders need emotional strength. To be an effective leader, you do need emotional strength. You need to be compassionate without leaving your heart unguarded. You need to be able to encourage others even when you're not being encouraged. You need to be able to feed others when you feel hungry yourself. You need to be able to be criticized, but be emotionally intelligent and strong enough to evaluate that criticism, see if there's any truth in it, and use it to become better. When you have emotional strength, you're able to fight off the negative emotions that bring about the collapse of so many leaders. Next, you need self-discipline so that you can develop consistency. There's a quote I like by the late Jim Rohn that says, "We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces, whilst regret weighs tons." Close quote. No leader has ever reached their full potential without self-discipline as their companion. Like a trusted friend, self-discipline keeps you in check when other things want to lead you astray. One of the major reasons why leaders need self-discipline is because self-discipline teaches you consistency, and when you are consistent, you produce results. It is the consistent learning that makes a master out of a student. It is the consistent training that makes a champion out of a novice. It is the consistent water it receives that makes a plant grow and produce fruits. Consistency is the key to productivity, and self-discipline is the key to consistency. Discipline is about direction. When we look at the definition of discipline, we see that it can be defined as the suppression of base desires and is usually understood to be synonymous with self-control and restraint. This definition comes from Wikipedia. Every emotion and desire that you have sets you off in a particular direction. And if you lack self-discipline, you will follow every emotion and desire that enters your mind. You will be controlled by your appetites, and you may end up devouring that which you shouldn't. You may follow your sexual desires, and they may lead you to promiscuous behavior. You may follow your desire for long sleep, and that may lead you to laziness and ineffectiveness. You may follow your desire to please everyone, and that may lead you to compromising your morals and values. Your base desires are those desires that seek to please the flesh. Like the flesh, they are at the base or surface, and they lack meaningful depth. Leaders who are led by their base desires are like children who do whatever they want, whenever they want. They lack the self-discipline to make choices that will set them in the right direction. Leaders who possess self-discipline demonstrate a maturity that makes others respect and admire them. It's easy to look up to a leader who is self-disciplined because their self-discipline creates a good impression about their strength of character. But a leader without restraints creates impression of weakness, and that weakens their leadership. Self-discipline means going against the current created by your base desires. It is choosing to wake up at 5 a.m. even when you'd rather sleep. It's about staying up longer to finish that project. It's about choosing that salad over those chips. It's about doing what is necessary and sometimes hard, instead of doing that which is easy but wrong. A leader with no or little self-discipline goes wherever the current of their base desires leads them. But a self-disciplined leader considers the direction they take because they know it will affect their destination. In its simplest form, self-discipline is the ability to say yes to the things that will develop you and no to the things that will bring you harm. When you say yes to physical exercise, yes to consistently working on your gifts and talents, yes to pursuing your purpose and so forth, then you're exercising good self-discipline. You are strengthening the roots of your character, and you'll become fruitful in your endeavors. What are you consistently saying yes to in your life, and what fruits will it produce? Discipline keeps you from distractions. On your leadership journey, you may encounter different things which wish to interrupt your progress and keep you from reaching your goals. These are called distractions, and their aim is to steal from you time and other valuable resources. They are there to take the energy you want to invest into achieving your mandate, and they redirect it towards something else. It's not always easy to recognize the distractions, and avoiding them requires self-discipline. A self-disciplined leader is a leader who lives life with vision. And when there are things that are distracting them from that vision, they take steps to make sure that they stay on course and are not derailed. The most dangerous kind of distractions are good distractions. Good distractions are those that seem good on the surface, but at the end they reveal themselves to be detrimental to the leader's mandate. Good distractions are often bad distractions in good attire. For instance, if you are leading an organization founded with the mandate of educating kids from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, and along the way, you discover that the community those kids come from has bad roads. You then decide to invest funds in fixing those roads, funds that could have been used to purchase new educational material. Then you have encountered a bad distraction in good attire. On the surface, it seems like you are doing a good thing. After all, you are helping to uplift the community those kids come from, but in actual fact, you are taking time and resources away from your vision of educating those kids. You are being distracted by a good thing, and that is bad. Self-discipline helps a leader to focus and keep their eye on the main thing. It is no good for a leader to aim for everything because in the end, that leader will achieve very little. It is better to invest 100% of yourself into one vision than to spread yourself too thinly by investing 10% of yourself into 10 different visions. Focus is what separates those who achieve excellence from those who are average or mediocre. As you master one thing, you can begin diverting into other things. But when you are just starting out, you will be more effective if you aim to do one thing well. For example, if you are starting out in business and you are in 5 different sectors, then you may be spreading it too thin. It is when you have mastered one sector that you can begin venturing into other business sectors. I was listening to Tyler Perry speak and was inspired by the level of self-discipline and focus he had to display in order to achieve what he has achieved. In 2011, Forbes named him the highest paid man in entertainment, and his net worth was estimated to be in the region of $600 million in 2017. Today, as you may know, he is a certified billionaire. When Tyler Perry was 22 years old, he took his life savings of $12,000 and financed his stage play called I Know I've Been Caged, which was performed in a community theater. The musical didn't receive a great review, and from a financial point of view, it was a failure. But Perry remained focused, and over the next 6 years, he rewrote the musical repeatedly, even though the reviews remained unfavorable. By employing self-discipline and not allowing himself to be distracted by other things, Tyler Perry managed to develop a large devoted following, and because he was consistent and stuck to his guns, he became a huge success. If you want to be successful, learn from the likes of Tyler Perry and remain steadfast and focused. Through exercising self-discipline, you'll become better at your craft and you'll arm yourself with the qualities that make leaders great. Notice that Tyler Perry didn't stop when he encountered failure. I'm quite certain that he felt massive disappointment when his musical was declared a failure. After all, he had invested all he had into. He had invested his money, his hopes, and his dreams into making it a success. But he did not allow himself to be distracted by those negative emotions. Instead, he forged on with intense self-discipline, and in the end, he became one of the great leaders in the entertainment sphere. Discipline is about devotion. What have you devoted your life to? What is the work that you have committed your heart, head, and hands to, and what impact will it have on humanity? It was the late Dr. Martin Luther King who said, "All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence." Close quote. The reason some leaders find it hard to be disciplined in what they do is because they haven't found something that they can be devoted to. They do work that demands their heads and hands, but that work has not captured their hearts. It's easier to practice self-discipline when you love the work you're doing, or rather, when you do the work you love. What do you love doing? What work would captivate your heart so much that self-discipline would become a given? What work would inspire you to wake up early every morning? What work would motivate you to invest more of your energy and resources into? Until you find such work, self-discipline may be something that you have to work quite hard on, but when you have found the work you were created to do, you won't have to push yourself too hard in this area of self-discipline. It's important to clarify that the work you're created to do is not necessarily the job you're doing. I believe it was Steve Harvey who said, "Your career is what you're paid for, your calling is what you're made for." Close quote. To fully uncover your leadership potential, you have to uncover your calling. It is through uncovering your calling that you'll be able to utilize your gifts in the correct way. You'll become like an arrow that is propelled by a skilled archer. You will hit the target you were created to hit. One of the spheres that emphasizes the importance of self-discipline is the military sphere. Through tough regimented drills, exercises and other means, they instill within each soldier the self-discipline required to increase their chances of succeeding on the battlefield. But before they begin instilling self-discipline in a soldier, They tried to recruit them by appealing to the devotion they have for their country. The best kind of soldier is the one who is a soldier because he or she loves their country and wants to serve and devote themselves to the cause of protecting it. Instilling self-discipline in such a soldier will not be hard. As a leader, you need to be like that soldier. You need to find a cause you're willing to fight for. In the 1964 Rivonia trial, Nelson Mandela made a speech where he said some seemingly startling words. He said, "The ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunity was an ideal for which he hoped to live for, but if needed, it was an ideal for which he would be prepared to die for." This says to us that when you have found your highest calling, you will truly become a soldier in that you'll be willing not to only fight for it, you will be willing to die for it as well. This is true devotion. Well, we've come to the end of this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in and join us again right here on Leading with Confidence. Cheers.